In this video, let's talk about now and yung naging restructuring nila along with the few chart requests na hinihiling nyo sa akin. Are you guys ready? Let's go! So let's start off with DMC, no? And the reason that I wanted to talk about DMC today is, diba nung isang araw, pinag-uusapan natin to and I said if we broke beneath itong swing low na nag-form after we gap down, then it's likely that price could revisit tong 8.11 natin na support. Okay? So ang nangyari is nabasag nga natin yung low na yon, and then today we printed a hammer. Now, very often, hammers are associated with bullishness kagad, no? But in this particular instance, I just want to remind people na to not just jump in dahil lang may nakita kayong isang candlestick na parang bullish yung itsura. Okay? Kailangan i-breakdown pa rin natin ng maayos. And to do that, allow me to zoom in a little bit, no? Now, if you zoom in, you can see here, number one, it's still possible na mabalikan natin tong gap na yan. And then from there, mauntog, and then we roll over. Okay? So yun yung isa sa mga possible bearish scenarios. The other one is, we need to consider na where the hammer is right now is essentially where all of these lows are. So we might not even fill the gap. We might come up, mauntog tayo sa mga lows na to, and then from there, we roll over. Masasabi lang talaga natin na, okay, sige, medyo mas bumawas na. Hindi totally wala, no? Kasi syempre, as I always say, the market will do whatever it wants. Pero mas mababawas na yung danger if we can at least reclaim tong high na to dito. If we can reclaim that high, then the likely scenario is either mag-gap fill tayo or balikan natin yung naiwan na resistance dito. Diba? I realized people are thinking, anong gagawin namin dyan? Di namin matitrade yan. And that's the crux of it, no? Hindi lahat ng galaw natitrade. Minsan talaga hindi maganda yung risk reward, and assessing direction is the easiest part of the trade, eh. 'Di ba? Yung mas mahirap na parte is actually assessing yung risk reward, looking for a decent entry, looking for where you need to stop out, where you would be right, where you would be wrong, and all of that. Now, let's say na bumaksak tayo, balikan natin yung 8.11. Then, ang scenario na iniiwasan natin is mabasag pa yung 8.11 kasi if that breaks, number one, babalik tayo sa bottom range na to between 7.65 to 8.11. Number two, there's the likelihood na hindi mag-hold to. Kasi, kaya lang naman meron tayong support dito is because dahil sa mahabang wick na to, eh. Kung titignan natin to the left, this is all chop. So there's the likelihood na hindi mag-hold to once mabasag yung 8.11, baka balikan natin all the way dito sa 7.25. Okay? Now, kung pumunta tayo sa 8.11 and that area holds, then we might trade within this range muna pang samantala between 8.11 to 8.72. Again, a very tradable range, pero whether or not it can be traded remains to be seen. Okay? For now, para sa akin, wala pa siyang bullish go-ahead signal, no? Siyempre, kapag inaabangan niya siya sa value area that you've determined using one system or another, whether it's from fundamental analysis or technical analysis, then by all means, go ahead. Pero for me, personally, medyo iwas-iwas muna to kapag wala pa kayong hawak. Kung may hawak naman kayo at kumita na kayo on the way up, be sure lang na i-honor niyo yung stops nyo para kung sakali mang mangyari ang ayaw natin mangyari, ay hindi po natin maibabalik sa merkado ang karamihan ng kinita natin. Next, pag-usapan po natin yung EMP, no? Now, itong EMP, after nung very strong drop niya, ang sabi ko nga nun, baka walang mangyari outside of mag-range muna siya dito. Pero syempre, right after ko sabihin nun, nagkaroon tayo ng disclosure, 'di ba? Na kumbaga pumapayag na or aprobado ng mailista yung EMP sa SGX. Unfortunately, it doesn't mean na ililista na siya. All it meant was pwede na. Nandiyan na yung, kumbaga, the possibility is heightened. So, syempre, na-excite din yung mga tao and naitulak pataas, no? essentially kinain natin tong strong move pababa, 'di ba? So yung lagi ko sinasabi na usually kapag may strong move to one side, eventually kung makain yon, mabilis din. And in this case, ganoon na naman yun nangyari. Madalas sinasabi natin yon kapag on the way up as a reminder na baka bumagsak. But as you can see here, it works both ways. Okay? Now, from here, ano yung pwede nating masabi tungkol sa EMP? Number one, technically speaking, we are trading within this range na. From 19 pesos hanggang 21.26. However, does that mean na dapat since nasa low end pa naman tayo ng range, we should jump in na? For me, personally, wala akong nakikitang matinong setup pag ganito itsura ng chart. Bakit? Kasi it looks overstretched eh. Isipin nyo, ilang green candles na yan na magkakasunod eh, di ba? So, the likelihood of a pullback increases rather than decreases kapag nakakita na tayo ng ilang sunod-sunod na ganyan. Parang ganito, di ba? Ilang sunod-sunod na green, eventually nag-pullback din tayo. How deep that pullback goes, I'm not entirely sure. But, a pullback into, ito, yung 17.54 na area, that's met by a corresponding strong reaction, meaning mag-hold tayo, and not just hold, but show some rejection, might lead to a further push higher. Okay? I am not saying na hindi na siya magpupush from here. I'm just saying a healthy pullback could be helpful. However, let's say naman nag-pullback tayo pero tumuloy-tuloy lang. Nabasag yung 17.54, nabasag yung 16.48. Then kapag ganon, highly likely this entire move will be eaten up din at baka bumalik tayo dito sa 14.96 where we had our previous high prior to price pushing higher. Okay? On the upside, kung mabasag naman natin tong 21.26, then the next magnet for price will be either tong gap fill natin or baka mabalikan yung mga lows na naiwan natin from this area of consolidation prior to price dropping lower. Okay? But again, for now, para sa akin, nood-nood muna. Hahabol tayo dito kasi medyo alanganin eh. Saan mo lalagay yung stop mo? Diba? Lalagay mo beneath 19 pero we could easily bounce from here, here, and so on. So parang it doesn't feel good, diba? Mag-i-stop out ka only to find na magbabounce din pala siya from an expected level and start pushing higher again. So because of all those factors, for me, watch mode muna. Let's see what happens when further structure develops prior to making a decision on whether or not to jump in dito sa EMP. Next, pag-usapan naman natin yung now, no? Kanina, nagkaroon ng disclosure yung now about some type of restructuring and I'm not gonna get into the nitty-gritty of that. Hahaba lang yung usapan natin. Suffice it to say na nag-react yung market positively and nagkaroon tayo ng strong candle with strong volume to the upside. Now, to those who are part of my Patreon group or my Discord, you guys already know that this has been on our watch list since last week, no? So, I was saying there na a break above 1.39 would likely lead to price pushing higher, possibly mabalikan tong 1.59 na area. And I was also saying there na there's the possibility na mauntog siya sa 1.49 but hindi siya yung main level of resistance na tinitingnan natin. Okay? So, unfortunately, ang nangyari kanina was we gapped up, we did break above 1.39, no real pullback was given, dumiretso na, humataw na tayo, umangat siya, and binasag niya yung 1.59 na target that we were discussing, no? Same as with yung 1.49. So from here, ano yung mga pwede natin tingnan dito sa now? First, hahabol ba tayo? Again, my mantra is always na hindi humabol. But that doesn't mean na hindi nyo pwedeng gawin. Syempre, di naman tayo pareho eh. Meron tayo iba-ibang hinahanap at tinitingnan sa merkado. Personally, again, I wouldn't go chasing it. But, kung gusto nyo, pasok naman sa system nyo. As long as well-researched and well-thought out naman yung trading plan nyo, go ahead, no? For me, I would rather wait for some type of pullback. Maybe bumalik dito around 1.5 na area. Tapos we see it hold. Okay, magkaroon tayo ng some type of confirmation na mag-hold tayo dyan. Then maybe, may entry na mabibigay doon, some type of structure kahit sa lower time frame. And then we can push higher from there, targeting 1.77 next. Kung mabasag yung 1.77, then for me, yung next level of resistance will be around here, no? Around 1.97 to 2 pesos. Bakit? Kasi dito rin tayo nakahanap ng previous lows, previous resistance, and so on. And I'm just taking yung pinaka-latest na high point or swing high and using that as my marker. Okay? So a break above 1.77 would likely lead to around 1.97 to 2 pesos. However, all that being said, kailangan din natin mag-ingat ng konti. We need to remind ourselves na part of the reason kung bakit di tayo mahabol is price is now in areas kung saan baka may mga naipit from before. 'Di ba? Syempre yung mga naipit, try nila lumabas ng buhay. So, that might lead price stalling or resting prior to pushing higher if it is gonna push higher. Okay? So, hopefully, kung ganun nga, mabigyan na opportunity yung iba, assuming malakas nga talaga to, konting pullback, entry do sa pullback, see kung saan may magandang stop placement, and then take it from there. For now kasi, let's say humabol ka dito, saan yung stop mo pupunta? Diba? Mag-i-stop ka randomly, 5%, 10%? That doesn't make sense. You might stop out here sa 1.5 where price could bounce. Diba? Even beneath that, 1.4, price could still bounce from there. Diyan yung mga previous highs eh. Diba? Sa mo lalagay, sa baba ng candle na to, nandyan yung gap eh. So the lowest you could possibly, the most conservative na pwedeng paglagyan would be beneath this low at 1.24. And that's a far cry, diba? A far distance away from 1.63. So konting ingat-ingat lang. Okay? Now, I'm personally interested to see kung tutuloy ba talaga to. Kasi kumbaga, it's not like this is the first time na nakita natin to, no? Diba? So, especially given yung current market conditions, it's almost always better to be prudent than to be rash and then before we know it, naipit na tayo. Diba? As we always say nga, diba? Mabuti nang maiwan, wag lang maipit. So, wait for a good entry, assuming interested kayo dito sa now. Kapag nakuha nyo yung good entry, meron kayong magandang trading plan, walang hesitation, bite the bullet. Next, let's talk about MAC. Now, tong MAC, again, this is a very requested stock, no? As I said, in the bigger picture, we are trading sideways, essentially. Okay? We can argue about saan ba talaga yung gusto nating highest point or lowest point ng range, but at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure karamihan sa atin magkakasundo na it is trading sideways sa bigger picture. Okay? Now, when we zoom in, ano yung pwede nating makita dito sa MAC? First, we identified this level at 5.4. After natin mag-breakdown in this candle here, diba, ano nangyari? We tried to push lower, diba, dito. Hindi kinaya, pero nag-reject din tayo right off 5.4. Tapos, ang nangyari, kinabukasan, we tried to drive it higher. Diba? Buyers tried to step in, pero nag-hold pa rin yung 5.4. Nagkaroon tayo ng rejection, and we closed beneath it. So as long as we're beneath tong 5.4, para sa akin, ito pa rin yung range natin right now. Somewhere between 4.8 to 5.4. Okay? Now, syempre, kinukuha ko yung extreme low ng range na yon. I am perfectly aware din na tong mga lows na to could also act as support para do sa current range natin. But, kapag lahat din na akong guhit, syempre, magmumukhang notebook yung chart natin, di ba? So, hindi ko na sila nilagyan, pero I'm aware that it's there. Okay? That they're there. Now, if price can come back and retake tong 5.4, I still wouldn't be too bullish. Diba? Kasi nandito pa rin tong mga swing lows na to eh, or range lows na to eh. Only if price can reclaim, break above tong mga highs na to, then mag-open up yung possibility sa akin na baka balikan natin tong naiwan natin na high at 6.25. Okay, but until then, kahit mag-push tayo slightly higher, for me, that's not a major cause of celebration. Yes, it's good that it can retake tong 5.4, but at the end of the day, we're still caught within this range eh. Now, ang ayaw nating makita kung bumaba man to, okay, is number one, syempre, ayaw natin mabasag tong 4.8. Kasi kapag nabasag yan, again, it opens up pagkano forms. Ano yung range na pwede mong makuha dito? Mag-hold ba tong support at 4.54 or babalikan natin tong buong range na to sa baba? kung babalikan natin tong buong range sa baba, medyo masakit yan, no? Medyo malalim lang yung tinitingnan natin. Baka mabalikan natin yung July 2020 lows. At kung mabasag pa natin yan, then baka mabalikan natin yung mga pandemic lows. Okay? So, for me, if you're bullish MAC, that's fine, no? I know a lot of brokers recommend MAC, but konting ingat-ingat lang, perhaps find better timing, 'di ba? A better point of execution para kung sakali man na ma-decide nyo na i-trade to, okay, lalo na sa mga nag-request, well, sana hindi kayo maka-experience ng prolonged drawdown. And then finally, tignan po natin tong JGS. Now, this is also an often requested stock, pero hindi ko siya gaano napagbibigyan simply because not much is really going on eh. Pero I've gotten more than a few requests, so I decided na sige, tignan natin kung ano na nga ba talaga yung nangyayari dito sa JGS, no? So, no matter how you slice it, diba? Number one, ranging pa rin tayo. And yes, I'm using the weekly chart to look at JGS simply because it's easier to see that way. It's easier to show the big picture kapag nasa higher time frame chart tayo. And for me, yung JGS, there's just no real reason para tingnan siya sa lower time frames just yet. 'Di ba? Gumugulo lang. Now, ano yung pwede nating i-assess, 'di ba? Dito sa JGS. Number one, possible nating sabihin na meron tayong head and shoulders pattern dito na hindi pa nagpa-play out. This pattern has not yet been invalidated kasi we haven't broken above tong 68.7. Okay? So until then, etong threat ng head and shoulders still looms. Now, pwede rin na natin tong tignan in a way na, okay, pwedeng naglalaro lang siya sa range na to. Between 47.9 hanggang 68.7. So same as yung sabi natin dito sa head and shoulders, we need to see 68.7 break para masabi nating mas bullish na tayo dito sa JGS. And babalik yung opportunity or yung chance na mabalikan natin tong high na to at 75.9 or even this high here at 79.05. Okay? Kasi if we trade it where it is, essentially we're just trading in chop. And kapag ka-choppy kasi talaga yung chart, it's hard to determine where price is going. Diba? Yes, every now and then, we can get lucky. Masasalo natin sa lower bound ng range. Tas sakto aangat siya. Tas babalikan niya yung upper bound ng range. But it doesn't always happen that way. Parang ito, makikita nyo, may times na nag-i-stall. Diba? Ito, hindi niya nabalikan yung low end ng range. Diba? Hindi niya nabalikan to. Nag-hold siya dyan. Ito, nabalikan niya. Pero dito pa lang, hindi na siya tumuloy. Hindi niya binalikan to. And so on. Diba? So, konting ingat-ingat lang. Now, another way that people have been viewing tong JGS, at least sa mga nagtatanong sa akin, is naka-triangle siya. Price is trading within this triangle and kumbaga nagta-tighten yung consolidation. That's also true. But since essentially speaking, we are coming from a downtrend, usually yung mga ganitong patterns, kung mabasag man, is in continuation ng trend, meaning to the downside. So even if mabasag to the upside dito, we still need to be wary, number one, na yes, the pattern is still there, yes, the downtrend is still there, so the possibility exists na mauuntog lang tayo dito sa 64.10 or if not there, dito sa 68.7. If mabasag naman to the downside tapos hindi siya mag-hold dito sa 52.65, then highly likely marirevisit tong 47.9 low, and I don't think that will hold for long, and likely babalikan natin tong low na to at 42.4 at bare minimum. Perhaps even tong low na to from 2018, no, which is at 39.35. Okay, but regardless, let's say we do break to the upside, again, I just want to temper yung bullish expectations, okay? Be reminded lang do sa mga resistance levels na nandyan pa, tapos sa pattern na nandyan pa, okay? Just in case lang. I am not saying na kung mabasag, di tataas ha. I'm just saying na kung mabasag man, hindi ibig sabihin na kailangan din na tayo nag-iingat. So guys, dito po nagtatapos yung video natin, no? I hope nakatulong po to sa inyo kahit konti and may natutunan kayo kahit papano. And if so, I would really appreciate it if you give this video a like and consider subscribing to my channel. And as always guys, maraming salamat po sa panonood. I really appreciate it. Good luck and happy trading!